Today's video is sponsored by AG1, my new favorite morning ritual. Who do I want to be? Who do I want to be today? It's me, Bustin' Timberlake, and welcome back to Hot or Rot. And today, we're going to be reviewing the premiere of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars Season 8. Our 12 returning queens are split into two groups and challenged to write lyrics for and develop original choreography for a song called Money Success Fame Glamour by the Pop-Tarts, who are also the executive producers of RuPaul's Drag Race. Like Mother said, never miss an opportunity for self-promotion. And throughout the episode, we saw 3 looks from each of our queens themed around the idea of fame. In the mini challenge, Fame Then and Fame Now, and on the runway, Famous Forever, aka each queen's timeless signature drag. So we'll be going queen by queen as they appeared in the main challenge to break down each of their 3 fame looks and discuss how I thought they did in the challenge. Then we'll talk tops, bottoms, lip syncs, and the twist. Y'all wanted a twist, eh? Laganja's eternal impact on Drag Race. Iconic. And we've got a lot to cover today, so let's go ahead and get bussin'. First, we'll do the glam rock group, starting with Alexis Michelle. Who is Alexis Michelle? Oh right, we already did that. And firstly, her 3 looks for Famous Then. She has an homage to Norma Desmond, who was a character from a 1950s movie called Sunset Boulevard. And from what I can tell through some clips and images, she 100% is evoking this 50s style and glamour, that kind of, oh, I'm in the makeup room, finishing up and powdering and ready to boss everybody around type of vibe going on. And for Famous Now, she gave us a direct reference to the look Kim Kardashian wore at the Met Gala 2021, which was the all-black morph suit thing that Kanye put her in for his fashion line as kind of like a statement piece. And I think these 2 looks from Alexis in the mini challenge fashion show are really interesting side by side because one is monochromatic white with sparkles and the other is completely black. And they're also from 2 completely different eras of pop culture and the world in general. So I think this was a great way for her to showcase her breadth of knowledge, if you will. Although neither of these is really giving me like an Alexis Michelle stamp. I think these looks are hot, but I think the more successful looks tonight did actually modernize and twist their references into their own unique characters. And her Famous Forever runway, also monochromatic. She's giving like a peachy 80s Jessica Rabbit kind of fantasy, which I think definitely hits that note of timeless glamour. My critique on this look though is kind of what I have for the previous 2. I want something bigger and bolder for television. And she here looks effortlessly, gorgeously, beautifully hot. But I think a lot of different queens could wear these 3 looks that she showcased tonight, and I'm really gonna be looking for that stamp of who is Alexis Michelle on the runway in the coming episodes. She definitely went above and beyond in the challenge though. She was the first to go in the glam rock group and belted out some really amazing vocals, and of course bragged with lyrics like, "My talent steals the scene." I though was kind of upset she didn't reference anything about her previous time on Drag Race, like the whole producing season 9 or See Something Say Something. I don't know, like that could have been really fun to throw in there and connect with the audience. But it's almost like she was scared to or didn't know how to tap into her funny, even though we know that she's hilarious and can do characters like Liza in Snatch Game and such. But the theatrics really came out untucked when Monica Beverly Hillz was having a genuine emotional moment about potentially being in the bottom of this episode, and Alexis just steals the entire moment and starts crying because she's happy that she's being received well by the judges. And every single queen is like in the room in the confessional. They're like, she's put on a show, theater's coming out. It's a little strange. As the president of Bussy Queen Enterprises, I'm a busy queen, which means I don't have time to think about the details of nutrition like multivitamins, minerals, probiotics, immune health, much less do I have the patience to count out 50 different pills and swallow them every morning. And thanks to AG1, the sponsor of today's video, I don't have to. AG1 is a tasty nutritional drink combining 9 different health products into one that I drink every morning before breakfast, saving me time, money, and confusion. And it's super easy to make. Just 1 scoop of AG1 and 12 ounces of water, shake, and drink. It tastes like a mildly zesty pineapple green tea. But what's in it? Oh, only 75 high-quality vitamins, nutrients, and minerals like beetroot powder, B12s, B5, and zinc for energy and endurance, plus ingredients like B6, folate, magnesium, and green tea extract that help keep busy individuals like myself focused all day long. I've been drinking AG1 for about 3 weeks now, and not only do I feel more focused and energized on a daily basis, but I also have a peace of mind and calmness knowing that I'm giving my body everything it needs. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description of my video to start a new morning ritual that will save you time, money, confusion, and help you feel better while you do it. Plus, when you use my link, you'll get free gifts, a 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D3K2, and 5 travel packs of AG1 free with your purchase. Your body will thank you. Thanks AG1 for sponsoring today's video. Next up, grab your floaties because we'll be taking a dip in the cool, refreshing waters of Darienne, who in the mini challenge fashion show gave us a, I guess, Renaissance fair inspired then and Billie Eilish now. I'm not really sure why she went for Renaissance fair because everyone else pretty much did some sort of like pop culture icon or at least iconic history woman. I don't know, it was really out of left field. And this type of style, I really wouldn't even call fashion. It's really just like a cosplay type of thing. It's situational and I think has, you know, a time and a place. But here, I don't know about that. I'm gonna give this like a really safe hot. The Billie Eilish look though, it's unforgivable. I thought at first, I was watching this on Patreon at patreon.com/bussyqueen, where my patrons get exclusive benefits like early access to my YouTube videos and access to exclusive videos like these reactions to Drag Race. And I'm thinking, is this one of those things that's like so bad it's good? And it wasn't. It's just so bad it's bad. It had time to marinate and it is just she could have gone from there to the next step, which maybe was a beautiful gown in like a green to black ombre with that same design on it to evoke the idea of Billie Eilish, but still give Darienne Lake and also give drag. This was rot, but I think her saving grace tonight in terms of look presentation was the forever famous look on the runway. She is in all leopard that is dripping in crystals that get denser and denser as it goes down the gown. This is seriously gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. It's definitely a hot look for me, but in the challenge, I think she also had some hits and misses. In general, I like the 80s Madonna glam rock vibe that she went for and enjoyed herself referencing lyrics about taking a dip into the cool waters of Darienne Lake. And I think she commanded stage presence and in her solo moment did great. It was really just in the larger group choreography that every time there was a group shot, she was like a full step behind everyone else and it was obvious. So her solo feature, I would give a hot, but you know, the choreo and all the other stuff is a rot. And next up, it's Heidi in Closet. What's gappinin'? And she, in her fashion presentation tonight, takes us on a wild journey. In her famous then look, we get this like electric green little Bo Peep 19th century fashion thing going on. Totally wild. My only confusion point here was I just wasn't totally sure what she was trying to do with the white makeup on her jaw. I think maybe she was trying to look like a cracked porcelain doll or something, but it was more distracting than additive, and I don't think the look needed it. I'd love to see her taking risks and doing new things, which she also did in the famous Now look, which is an homage to Chloe and Hailey Bailey, an R&B duo. And I'm not totally sure if she was referencing an exact look from them, but I love what she did here. That big giant bow in the back, giving us some camp, giving us, I think, really interesting stuff like cool patterns, cool textures, and overall a hot look. But I do think she saved the best for last. Her famous Forever look was a little Chris Tucker from Fifth Element reference, which we always love to see. But this look isn't an exact copy of that look. It's twisted and remixed, and Heidi looks great here. Loving, loving, loving the adventurous spirit that she's approaching her fashion with, and this look is hot. And in the challenge, we actually see that she maybe had, in the beginning, a bigger role in choreographing for her group, but Kandy Muse stepped in during rehearsal to say, no, 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 we're not gonna do that, we're gonna do this. And we never really saw a resolution on whose choreo ended up being used where, but I think Heidi individually did amazing. She was somebody who was never out of sync. She was somebody who knew all the steps. She was somebody who in her solo was commanding presence, giving face, and I think really nailed every aspect of this style of performance. The only place where she missed for me tonight was the lyrics. I kind of lost what she was saying in that last part of her verse. I think she was saying something about always getting caught when she's on the scene, but I don't know what that means. But all things considered, I would give this a safe hot. And next up, she not only put in the work, but got the work. It's Kahanna Montrese. And across her 3 looks tonight, we see, I think, a theme of gaudy opulence. The famous then look is very old Hollywood, but ritzy, glitzy. She's got a little leg slit, several chinchillas around her arms, and a whole lot of body-yaddy-yaddy. And I think this was her opportunity to show the judges, here's my glamorous womana beautiful look. Then for the famous Now, she gave us a remix of the Lil Nas X pink cowboy suit that he wore. And I loved this because A, it was immediately recognizable. And B, she didn't just copy the look. She made the bottom part, which was originally, I believe, chaps or pants, into a dress, which I think was really smart and obviously showing that she's thinking about what she's doing and not just doing the assignment, but also the extra credit, that extra mile that is gonna make her stand out and get the judge's attention, which indeed it did. Both of these looks absolutely hot. And in the famous Forever look, another hot look. Metaphorically and possibly literally, she's a phoenix, all while keeping in line with this new identity that she's creating for herself that is this beautiful, opulent showgirl. And her glow up theme continues in the challenge. She is rapping about how she's here with the glow up, which is very literal, but also aspirational and I think relatable. And I would have liked to have seen more memorable lyrics from her, but what she did was perfectly fine and I think appropriate for the challenge and like very hot. And next up, if you don't have star quality, Kandy Muse will let you know. So we actually see a little alliance forming apparently between her, Jimbo, and Heidi because they were all on tour right before All Stars 8 happened. But will the bonds of the alliance hold when times get tough? Guess we'll find out. This jacket is so hot. I have to take it off. I was trying to be cute for y'all, but I can't do it. I'm sweating. Oh my God. Anyways, across Kandy's 3 looks, she absolutely nailed everything she did. Her famous then is a look paying homage to the supermodel look by RuPaul, which I think is a flawless Ru creation, and she looks untouchable. Plus, I love the updated amount and volume of hair on the head to balance out the extra train that she also added to this outfit. But her famous Now look, while polished, left me with more questions than answers. She said she was giving futuristic celebrity woman on the go, which I don't know why she didn't like say a name if there was supposed to be a name, or maybe she just went conceptual, but I don't think that there was a strong enough concept or reference, at least not one that was recognizable to me. And so this look was weak in that sense to me, but strong aesthetically. These are hot looks. And her timeless drag look is giving red armor plates, a little like red Power Ranger fantasy, maybe a little Bionic Woman Mugler inspiration there. Also, I've got to call it, her makeup is again, this time around untouchable. Like it was perfect back on her original season, but is even more perfected now somehow. The lines, the blend, I mean, it's really great. And in the challenge, she was also a solid performer. She sang award-winning Diva. She's giving you Fever, which overall I would say was pretty underrated considering she was just safe this episode. Because like Heidi, she had a very commanding and present performance. I think it was just missing a storyline to tie into to make the episode more impactful. Conspiracy theory. And next up, our beauty queen, Miss Naysha Lopez, who for her famous then is giving the classic, or a reference to the classic Coco Chanel tweed suit, which is a perfect fashion reference to make. However, I think it kind of missed the mark in terms of actually meeting the reference in terms of style, and then again, also twisting it and remixing it into her own brand. The proportions are off in this. It's like the blazer part is way too bulky and the skirt is too long. The silhouette is just not silhouetting. This looks a rot. But her famous Now look was both beautiful and smart. She's giving Donatella, and I believe the dress is supposed to be a reference to Donatella wearing the jungle green Versace dress that was actually made famous by Jennifer Lopez a year after Donatella wore it at the 1999 Met Gala and J.Lo wore it in the 2000s at the Grammys. I will also point out though, I think her doing Donatella in a look from 1999 as a famous Now look is a little questionable in terms of meeting the brief, especially when her then look came from the 80s. But the look is hot, and her Forever look, I can't really say much about it because the look itself doesn't say much. It's, girl, I'm colorblind, I don't know, it's lavender cat suit with crystals on it. Like it's pretty, if I guess like a little dated. And I think looking at these 3 looks, she has the same issue so far as Alexis. You're like, who is this queen? What is her brand? What is like the unique thing that she's doing across the board that's making her stand out and be unique in, you know, a sea of queens everywhere, queens everywhere. But you can't say she doesn't look absolutely drop dead gorgeous. She does. This look is like a safe hot for me. And in the challenge, she sings, "If you don't know my name, you only have yourself to blame." And it's funny because individually, each queen in this group did well. It was really just in the group choreography parts that they were kind of falling apart. Because Naysha solo was a great solo performance, if I guess a little understated. And I think perfectly deserving of her safe spot this episode. And next up, we're getting into the disco themed version of this song starting with Jaymes Mansfield. First, we got her famous then look, which she says is an homage to her Mexican heritage. And it's like showgirl meets mariachi meets bullfighter. At least that's my interpretation of what's going on here. Oh, also meets burlesque, which is great. Like, you see the reference points that she made, and you also see how she put those down, flipped them, and reversed them, and still gave a branded Jaymes Mansfield look that makes sense with her fantasy. She did a great job in this challenge. And for famous now, she gave a JoJo Siwa fantasy, which I'll say I didn't immediately recognize. JoJo Siwa was not somebody I keep like on the tip of my tongue, and she's also not someone I would consider like a fashion icon, so I'm not sure that the JoJo Siwa pick made sense for this challenge. So cute, like a safe hot, but was it fashion? Her famous forever look, though, of the three, I think was my favorite from her tonight. This absolutely is timeless old glamour, but modernized. She's giving that, oh, I'm in the boudoir in my nightie, throwing a shawl over and going to talk to my man type of fantasy. And she has that kind of twisted, sick Barbie thing that she has going on there with the squeaking, and you know, it's all very fun and tongue-in-cheek, which is exactly what we expect from Jaymes Mansfield. This was a great runway from her. It's absolutely hot. And in the challenge, she starts her group off with the first solo, Hi Mama Ru is the queen of camp, letting everyone know that her voice isn't the only thing that squeaks. She's a funny, campy queen, and she's tapping into that and playing into that blonde ditzy character with the choreo, because I think maybe dancing isn't her strong suit, but as Ross pointed out, she made it enjoyable by doing it in character still, even if it wasn't perfect dancing. And overall, I enjoyed Jaymes, and that's how I give her a hot. And next up, Coco-Doodle-Doo, it's Jessica Wilde. So her famous then look is Nefertiti. And girl, we have gone 3,400 years back to get to this Egyptian queen. I think this is a good look. It's solid. It's a little costumey. It's very Vegas glamour, gaudy. I feel like, is this the most original thing we've ever seen on a runway and on Drag Race? No, but she knows how to work runway and she knows how to give a fantasy. So give this a safe hot. Her famous now look, though, was so much fun. So Bad Bunny is a Latin pop rap artist, and he actually did drag in this music video, Yo Perrero Sola, and the look is exact. For all I know, this is literally the exact dress and wig that Bad Bunny was wearing in the music video. She killed it. I love the reference. I immediately got it. This look is hot. Her forever look, though, tonight, not my favorite of the three. Something is feeling off about that hair color. To me, it's like washing out her face in a weird way. Although I will say the actual outfit pieces, I think, are solid. She's got a great silhouette. I love individually how they work together. She's got movement. This is absolutely her kind of rock and roll style that she likes to do. I think this look was maybe just a little too timeless for Jessica Wilde, because I feel like we saw her wear stuff like this on her original season, which is both a critique and a compliment, because she looked great back then and she looks great now. But it's All Stars, and I think we, the audience and the producers and judges and everyone, are really looking for that evolution storyline, and I think she's gonna need to show where she's evolved in specific places. But even if she didn't do that on the runway for me tonight, I think she absolutely did it in the challenge. She is so much more confident doing whatever the hell she's doing on stage, and I love that she has just totally embraced this idea of, I am who I am, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, it's gonna come out how it's gonna come out in whatever language it is. She was singing like, my body's my moneymaker, pay and you can taste her. Wild. I don't know how they didn't make her rewrite that, honestly, but it was a solid, funny performance, and I think it was absolutely hot. And next up, she came to cruise. It's Jimbo. And I'll just say it right now. She ate. She left no crumbs. The plate was empty. She went back for a second. She ate those too. Nailed every single aspect of this episode. The famous then, she's giving Marilyn Monroe. The classic 50s shot of her standing over the sewer grate with her dress carefully blowing up in certain situations to give the people looking at the photo some tingly feelings. Really smart look. And she didn't just put on a cute little white dress. It is a huge, draggy moment. Like the way the actual dress is wired, it looks like to be up behind her, constantly giving that, oh, the sewer's blowing air up my ass thing, is brilliant. This look is hot. And her now look is a little more conceptual. She's giving social media queen in really interesting ways. Like her wig is like a thumbs up, like a like button. And she's got words on her dress like follow and subscribe. And the dress in general with these giant words on it, I think are a reference to the Victor and Rolf fashion show from several years ago. And for her famous forever look, I was gagged, I was gooped. She's literally a giant brain coming out on the stage. Like the amount of hours of work that went into not only the costume of this, but the wig work I mean, this look is insane. What is going on here? All these looks are hot. And in the challenge, I actually think she had one of the best verses. She sang J to the IMBO and then like talking directly to Ru, as she loves to do. Jimbo is like funny, irreverent, professional, polished, all the things that you want to see on TV and on Drag Race. She killed this challenge. She killed the runway. Girl, hot, hot, hot. Hot, 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 hot. Next up, we've got award-winning designer LaLa, who for her famous thin look is doing a 1960s glamour, which is gorgeous on her. Her makeup is really soft here. She looks so pretty, and the gown perfectly fits. But her famous now look, girl, I don't know if she's doing this on purpose to troll, but how does the same person that wears this famous thin look also wear this famous now look? I think she did this on purpose. It's just a bad look. Like, it's literally a sheer bodysuit with like cutout letters on it. And like the joke is funny, but it just is very last minute. This looks a rot. But her forever look goes back to a hot. She wanted to give a leotard, but to make it into a train, kind of a half dress, half dancing bodysuit thing going on, which is unique and interesting. And like that is, I think, the consistent theme with LaLa Ri's drag and fashion is she's a mixed bag and don't really know what to expect with this queen, which is fun. And this look is hot. In the challenge, also, again, you don't know what to expect. Maybe she's eating hot chicken off of diamond dishes. And I really enjoyed how, unlike some of the other queens who took this challenge, I think a little too seriously in the other group, she was just like, I'm gonna be silly, I'm gonna be me, do my own thing. And that to me is hot. And next up, MBH, Monica Beverly Hillz, who for her famous then look is giving us Cleopatra, another trip back to Egypt. And this is a solid look from her. The costuming is good and the fantasy is clear. I think, like so many of the other looks, honestly, tonight in this mini challenge, it's just missing a signature. And the thing is, we don't know who Monica Beverly Hillz is anymore. It's been so long since we've seen her on our television. And this was a really great chance for her, I think, to make her mark. And she kind of missed that opportunity. Because like also in the famous now look, she comes out and she's giving cute girl who's like maybe shopping in West Hollywood fantasy. And she says this is supposed to be a Kim Petras look, which I like Kim Petras. I'm a Kim Petras fan. But for as much as I enjoy her music and like her, I don't really like think of Kim Petras as having an iconic look or something that is super memorable from an award show or something. So this to me was a rot for the brief, and her famous forever look is pretty. But across these three looks, we are left asking, like, who is Monica Beverly Hillz? She's in this gorgeous danceable bodysuit, but what's the reason? What's the why? What's the purpose? What's the how? How do we arrive here? This looks like a safe hot, and getting onto the challenge, the reason that she was in the bottom this episode, it was very clear that she had something else on her mind, or was not sure of what she was doing, or didn't have that inner confidence, because every single time the camera was on her, she just looked a little distant, not as present as some of the other queens that were just up in your face in that camera giving rep, 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 rep. She was distracted, and that was consistent there as well as on her runways. So this performance is a rot for me, but we'll talk more about her being in the bottom later. Let's move on to Miss Kasha Davis. Her famous then is a direct reference to Lucille Ball in Ziegfeld Follies from 1945. And I love that she not only named the person of interest, but the source and the year that this look was sourced from. And the other thing I love about this look is, yes, it very clearly is an homage or reference to this famous then look from Lucille Ball, but it's not exact. And I think she kind of twisted and mixed it up in a way that made sense for Miss Kasha Davis. This look is hot, but her famous now look? So this is supposed to be Kris Jenner, famous now, yes. But would Kris Jenner be caught dead in this outfit? Lover or hater? I think we can't deny that modern Kris Jenner does not have this bad of taste, or at least this bad of stylist. And it doesn't happen. This look is bad. This is a rot. And her famous forever look, camp. It was camp. She's doing her 50s housewife kind of dress thing going on. She's probably got a pie in the oven, and the wig is not a wig, it's a helmet. And is this like an iconic fashion moment for Drag Race? No, but I think it's a perfectly serviceable look and represents Mrs. Kasha Davis well. So it's hot. And in the challenge, her verse was actually one of the few that I laughed out loud listening to. She's obsessed with calling herself a workhorse queen, which to me just sounds really funny. I don't know what it is about those two words together, but it just makes me laugh every time she says it. But her lyrics overall were kind of strange. She was like, I'm reintroducing myself with my cutie hubby by my side. And I was like, what do you mean? Why are we bringing the husband into this? But I think she made up for the confusion I had with her ad libs when she was like, money and brunch. This was hot. So the judges pick out Darienne Lake and Monica Beverly Hillz as our bottom 2 for this episode, which I actually agree with. Both of these queens had very clear, identifiable moments that were like, yeah, they messed up. And it wasn't just in one area, but multiple. You know, Darienne with the choreo and also some of the fashion slip-ups, and then Monica with the presentation of self both on the runway and in the dancing of the challenge. I will also point out Alexis and Naysha were a little lower on my scorecard, but I don't think they deserve bottom 2. My scorecard tops were Kahana and Kandy with 19 points, and then I actually give a perfect scorecard to Jimbo for this episode. Maybe I'm biased, I don't know. Like, I'm definitely a Jimbo stan, but I just feel like she really went above and beyond here. And to not even have her called out as being in the top, I don't know, kind of gooped me, kind of gagged me. But like I said, Kahana was also in the top for me, and I think her pick for the win made sense, especially considering she had a great little storyline. You know, this is her moment. She's coming back from being early out to here she is, all glowed up. That is All Stars. So she wins $5,000 cash money, baby, and then gets to lip sync against this episode's lip sync assassin, Aja. And this was a lip sync, girlies. And I think Aja's ballroom moments really sold the intensity of the song. But for me personally, I think Kahana was a little more in vibe with like the general emotion and feeling of the song across the board. So the $10,000 cash tip that would have gone to Kahana if she won gets rolled over into next week's episode, meaning next week's lip sync is worth $20,000. And Ru also reveals the twist for the season. The twist is that the eliminated queens are gonna be competing in a sort of loser's bracket, if you will, of unaired runways. It seems we're gonna see how this shakes out, because it seems like there's gonna be some kind of fan voting involved, and they're gonna be showing looks that the eliminated queen from the prior episode would have worn the episode if they had still been there. And I'm like, how is this all gonna work? I'm sure they'll find a way. But the winner, however that happens, will win $50,000. The fame games have started. And finally, before we go over hottest hots, I want to remind y'all that you can click the link in the description of my video to try AG1 today and get some amazing free gifts. Checking out my channel sponsors will of course help my channel continue to make videos, and I know y'all will love AG1, so click the link and check them out. And now for hottest hots. For the 3 fame looks combined, I'm going to give it to Jimbo, and in the girl group challenge, I'm also going to give it to Jimbo. I also asked my patrons to vote on their hottest hots, and for the looks, they chose Jimbo, and in the challenge, Montrese. And finally, we give an extra special shout out to Ashley Brungart, Dorothy Hall, Felicia, Frankie, Jeffrey Steenberg, Laura, Bassett, Louis Labrador, Matthew Burns, Matto, Panda Kitty, Sailor, Stephen Topher, Tyler Hendricks, MD, Really, and Will and Tana, who are all supporting me at my Bussy Queen Collector tier over at patreon.com/BussyQueen. See you later. Love ya. Bye.